What up, guys? I got something a little different today. Get my computer out. This room used to be a storage room, and they've opened it up and made it a conference room without telling anybody, and then it got hot in here. So basically it's fed from, we just had these two supplier girls here. There's two VAV boxes above the ceiling. One feeds a common area that is right over here in a hallway. The other one feeds out into unconditioned plant area. Why it feeds out there, I don't know. It's been abandoned. Years ago, they actually had so there's my duct there that I cut off. The registers out there were condensating because it's unconditioned and we were blowing 55-degree air through it. So I just closed the VAV damper at that point because it wasn't being used. Anyways, they made this conference room. They needed a solution for air. So I came yesterday. We added 2 flex runs and 10 inch. So I just split them up evenly, put them in the same spot on the other side of the room. My goal today is gonna be get, thermostat's gonna go over there. I'm gonna leave these 2 hooked up. They barely blow, they're like 5-6 inch runs, or if that. But I gotta get a thermostat on the wall. It's just a thumb wheel thermostat. We're gonna put that guy right there. Get everything wired in up top. And I'm gonna plug in my computer and we'll see if we can't run them out of this room. Just drive that box open and closed and see how it does. Now with these sensors, this is your thumb wheel sensor here. It's not real complicated. 1, 2, and 3. It's gonna be zone, ground, and set, and it actually says it there on the bottom. Zone temperature, signal common, and set point. 1, 2, and 3 is gonna match up the same way on the VAV box, same numbers. This circuit board, this is your temp sensor. This board will actually come out of here. Like so. Pops in 3 spots, and we can mount that guy and pop the board back in. So I got my fish tape in the wall, marked my spots. This guy had actually, everything was here. When I found the, when I actually closed the box, I found it was communicating. It's on the comm link. I don't know why the hell it's feeding an unconditioned space unless they just had planned on possibly adding on or something. But thermostat wire is still in place. So we're gonna get that over here. I gotta make my hole a little bit bigger. Well, my fish tape's back in there. I'll make my hole bigger so I can get to it, and then we'll drop that stat wire down. And we ought to be good. The only other thing that I'm gonna have to look at is, this is hot water reheat, so I've got an actuator here that I'm gonna have to figure out. I don't know if I have the other female in for that plug or what. But it's just a 3-wire actuator, so I gotta figure out where that goes on the board and all that good stuff. Now we got our wire. I am probably gonna leave the excess wire up here. I'll secure it somehow, at least get a wire tie on it, but I don't know why this box was just not used, never wired or anything. So worst case scenario, they come back to me 5 years from now and say, hey, we want to connect that again, or we want to add another box and connect that side again. I'm just going to leave myself some leeway with that wire. I did the same thing with the flex, just in case they said, oh, well, dude, that supply is blowing on me, can we move it or whatever. I left myself a little bit of play there, just in case, because you never know. So let's get this stat wired in and we'll plug into the box and see what we got. So here we are. This is my gray thermostat wire here, and you can see you've got J1, 2, and 3, and if you look up in between there, it'll actually say set, zone, and ground, but it should be the same 1, 2, and 3, red, black, and white. We're just going to make sure all those match up at our thermostat. This is the board. There's not a whole lot more going on here. This pressure transducer is this 3-wire plug right there, and there's your actual pressure transducer. So there's a ring inside the inlet here that will read CFM. All of this has already been set up. Like I said, I can pull it up from the system, but that is the address back there, those 3 dials. So it looks like we are addressed, what is that, 001. Your actuator plugs in there, and that controls the airflow. Let's get our stat wired in. This here, let's see. That was the one thing I wasn't sure about, was this plug here. Looks like my valve is closed right now. And actually I do have wire right there. I know I looked at that, I just don't have the plug. So that white wire is going to go here, and that's going to control my actuator. So I'm probably just going to have to pull that plug and wire nut them together. So we've got our zone, ground, and set, red, black, and white, and this guy is going to pop right back in here. Match up your little clip there in the center behind those, and that's going to snap it in place. Now we've got a thumb wheel. We should be reading the temperature. Let's get the cover on it and plug in and see what we got. So we're going to plug in right here. Now I could go back to the SC main controller and plug in as well, but for this we're just going to plug directly into this unit. And I don't know if you noticed earlier, I had a red flashy light. That's because I didn't have a thermostat connected, so it was sensing there was a problem. Now that my thermostat's connected, that went away. We got a steady green light. The only thing I'm probably going to do is just get these wires, this actuator. You can see it's closed now. It's going to rotate open, obviously, when it needs air. We're going to get these wires off of here. That's just a bad spot for them. So here's our diagram here. It's a UC210. You can see our damper actuator here. Field installed water valve. It's our pressure transducer. This is 24 volts in over here. The LED link is going to be my comm wire. It's usually purple shielded. And then we've got 1, 2, and 3 zone, ground, and set. So space temperature right now showing 66. Set point local is going to be the set point of that sensor. It's at 65. It is local source, so that means we're using the local set point to set our temperature. So you can see we're at 65 right now. Turn it up, and we'll see my set point changed. Now I am showing 120 CFM. Not sure why I'm reading some, because my actual air valve position is 0. Let's go test everything out. We can see this is all our information here, and then typically you'll have min heating and cooling, max heating and cooling. Those are starting points for the position or the min-max settings on airflow. So we'll have to go down and set all of our min-max. It's in cooling mode. This is my override here. This must have been how I overrode it initially, because we can see it's override the air valve position at 0. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is we're just going to release all of these overrides. The damper STC is going to be the algorithm that it's actually operating at. So what I'm going to do first is probably just set this thing to 100% and apply. We'll let it open. We should see this air valve position change. And I'm going to drive it open 100% and see what kind of CFM we get out of it. Maybe. So there's no min position enforced. We will set a minimum on this. What I want to do is drive it open, see how much CFM I get out of it, and just make sure the airflow noise isn't too much. They want this room cold, so I don't think we're gonna bother them too much with airflow, but this thing ought to dump a whole lot of air if I can ever get it open. Let's try one more time. Let's do it like this. 100. Let's go to manual life safety. Maybe that's why it's not taking. If you don't have a priority level over the damper control, it may not take. There it goes. 100%. This is my actual air valve position, and it should start driving open. It's not moving yet, so we're gonna try something different here. I'm in equipment utility, and I've got actions here to calibrate basically. So let's calibrate the air valve first and see what that does. Let's go start drive to max. Let's see if that will drive my valve. The valve didn't want to drive initially. Not sure why. It didn't want to take my override. Thing's plugged in tight, but it's not, unless it's trying to drive it the wrong way. That's your actuator there. You can see that pin in the middle actually rotate when it's trying to drive. And it's not trying to drive right now. So I Gotta figure out what the hell's going on. So she's not responding yet. Let's go to auto commissioning and see what that does. See if that works. Press start to begin auto commissioning. Let it commission itself. Let's see if it does anything. Our green bar will fill up and tell us when it's done, I'm assuming. As soon as the spinny thing stops, maybe. I'm just gonna give it a minute and see what it does. And hopefully we can get this guy working. I don't know why it's responded from when I was plugged into the SC. I can always go plug in there if I need to, but it's responded to me before because I can see it, and I've been able to at least close the damper because that's what I did initially when they had the condensation issues on the other side. So I can see here my set points, maximum heat were 590, 235, 180. All that's been set. So they must have set that up initially. Still not getting it to respond, so still working on why the hell it's not responding to me. I'm gonna maybe try a reset. Just pull the power and make sure everything comes back online. I'm not really sure what's going on right now. Like I said, I've been able to override this before to 0 on the air valve position command, but it didn't take when I set it at 100. So I overrode my airflow set point active was at 0. Put it at 2000 and it seems like my damper's actuating now. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. Let's make sure my damper's moving. There she goes. Starting to open up. So that's a start. We'll let it get to 100%. I've got to actuate that hot water valve too, just to make sure it works. My damper works. We just got some settings that are screwed up. It looks like my min max was set, but my min was set at 180. Well, I guess I was showing 120 CFM, so maybe that's why. Let's see how many CFM we get out of it at 100%. I can hear the airflow now. I can feel the airflow. It's pretty cool in here already. So it looks like I'm gonna be able to get about 1080 CFM max. And that's not overly noisy. Sounds good. And I can feel the airflow, so that's good. That's a start. At least I got it to do something. So let me go in here and figure out why my set point active was 0 and what alarm popped up. I don't know what that is. It's new. Oh, high airflow. I'm guessing that's because it's going over my max airflow setting, so no big deal there. So let's do something here. I'm gonna leave my CFM the minimum at 0 because I don't need this one to ventilate all the time. I've got a minimum on the other VAV, so these will dump some air, and if they come in here and crank the thermostat down, I've got the low setting at 65, which I'm at 65 degrees. It cooled off quick. Just that little bit of opening cooled it down pretty quick. I'll trick it and make it think it's warmer than it is. Let's warm that sensor up. And see if that drive if that actuator doesn't drive open. So we warm the sensor up. Set point active, local set point 50, set point active is 65 because that's my minimum set point. It's cooling back down pretty quick, but I wanted to see my air valve open and close normally via the thermostat. I'm gonna go back and put it through a calibration and give it a little while. I don't know why it didn't want to calibrate initially. So I need to get it in a calibration to see if I can't make it work. At least calibrate it and then make it work from the thermostat. Because it doesn't seem to want to, it's not acting right for some reason. And the other weird thing is I'm still showing in test mode for some reason. It doesn't make sense. Because I canceled the test mode because it was not doing a damn thing. So let's come here. That's my transformer, 24 volts. Let's just pull 24 volts. I got a red light because I lost power. Probably the board will get power from my computer if I'm plugged in, so we're just going to reset it like that, and then we'll give it power back. Let's see if we can't put it through test mode now. So here we are, let's go, we're in commissioning. Let's go to hot water valve override and open, apply. Starting the timeout, let's make sure our hot water valve is gonna operate. Oh yeah, she's opening slowly. Now we'll let that go. We'll just let it drive all the way. It's gonna take I don't know if it's 180 seconds, 90 seconds or what, but we'll let that drive to 100%. I don't currently have hot water, but we're gonna let it drive anyways, at least we know it works. And then we'll switch over to the air valve and see if the air valve doesn't work from here now. So you can see we're about 100% there. We can also see that orange LED is that's our binary output for our valve. So we're at 100%. We're gonna go ahead and put that back to normal, let it close, and then do the same thing with our air valve. So let's go do calibrate air valve. Do the same thing here. This is the one that didn't work for me earlier, but we're gonna give it a shot again. Start drive to max. Doesn't give me apply, it just says measured airflow maximum, so it should be driving, I would assume. And it's not gonna drive from there. It opens counterclockwise and she ain't moving. You can see on my actuator I got no LED. Now that's an analog signal. I don't think it's a binary like the water valve is. So we are in normal operation now. I don't know why I'm still showing tests, but my Heating valve, I'm calling for 100% because I got my thermostat cranked up to 78. And my heating valve is open. So that's at 100%. So that's correct. Might have to go plug into the SC and see if I can't calibrate stuff from there, because I don't know why I won't calibrate, but let's turn it down. Everything seems like it's gonna work. There goes my set point local down. Set point active is gonna go to the minimum, which is 65. My heating valve command should go to 0. Should. Again, I don't know why it still shows me in test. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and lower my set point, my low limit set point, and see if I can't get that valve to drive open, because there may be it's 65 degrees in here. So this thing, apparently where it was showing test, I don't know if it got stuck in that calibration mode or what. I was searching and looking through everything, and it finally kicked out of whatever, I'm guessing that calibration mode that I was in, or tried to be in, which I canceled out of because it wouldn't do anything. But it finally went to, I'm in a local heating minimum, which I have no local heat right now, so it's gonna freeze this place out. But we're doing 235 CFM. This is on, let's see, local set point 69. So it is truly operating off of the thermostat now. So that's a plus. If we crank it down, we should see that airflow set point CFM go up. And then, because I'm going to be on, it hadn't changed here yet, local heating minimum, it should go to cooling minimum, and that's why my set point active went up. Just hadn't changed over there yet. And then my heating, the actual heating valve is going to drop down because it's calling for cooling now. I need to go back in and change my cooling low set point to, I don't know, 65 or something. But I can hear the airflow again. I like it. I don't know why this wanted to be such a pain. I wasn't able to do much of anything from the SC either. So I don't know, but it's working now. Everything looks good. I didn't expect to have too many problems with the controls. The duct went pretty well, so we'll see how it goes from here. They ought to be happy now that they got some air. Leave the tray better than you found it, guys. See y'all next time.